In this video, we're going to do a quick calculator tutorial. I actually have downloaded on my screen right here the Wabbit Emu calculator. By going to this website and clicking the download button, you can actually download that on your computer for free. We'll post this link on our website along with an additional link that you'll need to use to download the ROM for being able to use this calculator on your computer. If you have an Android, there's an app for the Wabbit Emu calculator, and you can download that on your Android phone. However, if you have an Apple phone, there is no app. However, there are other calculator apps that you can use on your phone. So we're just going to quickly go through. Most scientific and graphing calculators will evaluate sine, cosine, and tangent functions. How to evaluate will vary from model to model. So if you have a Casio calculator versus a Texas Instrument calculator, the buttons may not be all in the same location, but the general process is still going to be the same. So calculators are typically going to give you an approximate answer. An approximate value is going to look something like this. So cosine of 30 degrees is approximately 0.866. The exact value is where you're going to use the triangles that we're going to learn throughout this course, and that's going to give you an exact value. So an exact value is square root 3 over 2. So if I put square root 3 over 2 in my calculator, square root 3 divided by 2, as you can see, I'm going to get 0.866025, and see how it keeps going. So that's why this is considered an approximate value versus an exact value. So be careful on quizzes and tests. If they're asking for approximate, they're going to give you something to round to, so round to 2 decimals, 3 decimals, etc. But if they tell you to find the exact value, then you're going to need to use SOHCAHTOA or the special triangles in order to find that exact value. Okay, so let's look at some examples using our calculator. So the first one is tangent of 58 degrees. So I'm going to clear my calculator out and do tangent of 58 degrees and hit enter. But that number looks funny. I need to make sure that I am in degree mode. So that is very, very important when you're using your calculator to give you approximate answers. So on the Texas Instrument, you're going to go to mode. And you can see I'm actually in radian, so I need to change that to degree. So I'm going to go down to radian, over to degree, and hit enter. So now I'm in degree mode. Second, quit to go back to my main screen. So now if I do tangent of 58 degrees, it's actually 1.6. So my answer over here is 1.6. It is not 8.33. So always, always, always double check to make sure that your calculator is in degree mode when you're putting in degrees. So the next example, we have sine 26.1. Enter. That gives me 0.4. I'm going to round 4. And then this one's a little tricky. So here we have secant of 35.28. Well, I don't really have a secant. I have a sine, I have a cosine, and I have a tangent. However, we know that secant theta equals 1 over cosine theta. So if I have secant of this angle, that's going to be equal to 1 over cosine of that same angle, so 35.28 degrees. So now that I have it in terms of cosine, I can put it in my calculator. 1 divided by cosine 35.28 degrees, enter. And that gives me 1.225. Okay. So to find an angle given a trigonometric function value, we need to use the inverse trig function on our calculators. So if you look over here on my calculator, here is sine inverse, cosine inverse, and tan inverse. Notice that they're above my buttons in yellow, so that means we're going to have to use this second button in order to get to these inverse trig values. So if we want to find the angle, so this time we're solving for alpha, and we're given what it equals. We're going to have to use the inverse trig function in order to obtain that angle. So we're searching for alpha. So here I have sine. So I need to take the inverse of sine, 0.5125. All right, so that gives me alpha equals 30.83 degrees. Same thing here. I'm basically taking the inverse of both sides. So if I take tan inverse of tan alpha, and then I take the tan inverse of 2.032. So basically when I take the tan inverse of both sides, the tan inverse and the tangent are crossing out, and I'm left with alpha equal to second tangent, which gives me my tan inverse of 2.032, and I'm left with alpha equals 63.79. All right, and that's really all you need to know as far as using your calculator.